Blessed be everyone. Hello and welcome to another episode of Black Magic Talk. My co host is having a little bit of computer problems tonight. So, whenever he comes on, we'll let him back in and we're going to talk about basically witchcraft and pop culture. Where we kind of started with witches and witchcraft, and then moving into the new um, the new century of how they kind of looked, and we can name all kinds of shows and stuff. As soon as Matt does come back on, I will bring him back on. He is kind of having some technical difficulties, so just bear with us. But he should be on shortly as soon as his computer issues are settled. Okay, so let's get to pop culture. So, if anyone out there has seen the movie Witches, now my co-host said he has not seen that. Well, I've seen it since I was a little girl. So, when I was young, there was a movie called Witches, and it had Angelica Houston in it. And for all those who have not seen it, I do recommend it if you have a bad outlook on witches. Okay, so um, so witches in that movie were very grotesque, and they were not very nice to children. They turned them into mice. Um, and they would meet in secret. Some of the moments from the movie are going through my head, and I just remember that they were like kind of like a secret society that they would kind of meet in secret. But Angelica Houston, here comes my co-host. Okay. So I started the recording just so that we could get going. So I'm just letting everyone know about Angelica Houston in the movie Witches. So we kind of started with like witches are evil. They have, secret societies, secret meetings, and they're very grotesque. In the movie Witches, she's very grotesque. She doesn't look normal. And that was like Hollywood's depiction of witches. um, and I can remember watching that when I was little. But then you have things like, you have
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, where there was two bad witches and then there was two good witches. So Glinda of the North was a good witch. You also had Witches of Eastwick, which was kind of like witches get they get like swindled or coerced, I guess, by the devil, who was Jack Nicholson. Cher played in that movie. I actually do like that movie. And I do have it too. It's a good one. I just think that the misconception is that all witches are, have a pact or are coerced by the devil to do his bidding. Not true at all. So, um, a lot of negativity flowed around witches in earlier movies, like in silent movies. They were grotesque looking, they were older women, they had cauldrons, boil, boil, and double trouble, or whatever they say that us witches would say. Um,
Macbeth. That reminds me of Macbeth.
Macbeth, right, right. So witches were not very, looked good upon until we had some show in the 60s called Bewitched. Now, everyone remembers Bewitched, and if you don't know because you're younger and you haven't seen Bewitched, Bewitched is a story about a witch named Samantha who marries a mortal named Darren. And they have two children, and they seem to have a very happy life. They had the mother-in-law, or I'm sorry, the mom and the mother-in-law, and then of course the father was very protective of his kid. And then you had, Samantha, who was, a typical housewife in the 60s. She was trying to be a normal person. um and she was on the air for 8 seasons. That was Elizabeth Montgomery, great actress. um so you kind of had some like good lights on witches and witchcraft and magic, because she would drive her neighbor crazy because she would do all her witchcraft, and then the Kravitz would find out that she was, she's doing weird stuff, and in that show it was good on witches, but yet they were still looked upon as weird. They had a weird way of doing things. Excuse me. um So, I think in pop culture, as in anything, I also forgot to tell you that we are going to do the new moon ritual after the history lesson of pop culture, of course. Excuse me. But anyway, we did have at least that to look forward to as a witch. And then it sort of changed. So you had all the Merlin movies. The you had Excalibur, as you had mentioned, Matt. You have Mist of Avalon, which was also about, it was more about Morgana and her I guess upbringing. And then you had there was a show called Merlin, uh done by good actors and actresses. The lady who plays Morgana, she actually played in a version of Dracula. So it was in like 2013, and she plays Lucy. So it was Katie McGraw. Great actress. She's from Ireland, I believe. She also played in a Hallmark movie called Princess for Christmas, something like that. A good movie there too, because I like romance movies. No magic there or no kind of witches there, but I mean, um, as an actress, she is good. Hang on just 1 second. Sorry. Okay, now that that's done. So if we look back at movies and shows, you also of course had you had other witch shows, which was more like they were kind of combined with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Um she is her best friend is a witch. So you have Willow was a witch there, and she could do magic. She did it with her friend, and then she kind of becomes like a very powerful witch and is very called upon for different rituals. And she was also an angel too. So Willow was also an angel because she has to do a magic spell to get rid of, I think it was either no, it was to bring Angel's soul back so that he would stop being evil Angel and he would be a good angel again. So again, we also had the show Charmed, which was very pro witch. I've never really seen it. I wasn't really much for Charmed, but I do know that during the 90s that was very popular, and it got a lot of people to go out there and look up what witches were and what it was all about. And of course, so that kind of helped in the 90s. Did you want to say something, Matt?
Well, Practical Magic was a pretty good movie if you saw that
Practical
one.
Magic. That was a great movie. I love that movie. So it was about two women who their aunts were witches, and they taught them how to be witches. And I do remember the little girl did a love spell that someday she would meet her soulmate, and he would have one blue eye and one brown eye. And then when she meets the detective, he has one blue eye and one brown eye. So that was kind of cool there. Yeah, I do like that one. That was Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock. And then, of course, the woman who played in Grease. Oh boy, I can't remember her name, but she plays in Grace. She plays one of the ants in Practical Magic. Definitely another great movie about witchcraft and witches. And at the end they kind of are like heroes. They kind of, the whole town used to pick on them. The kids used to pick on them, and now the whole town comes out during Halloween and um does magic things with them.
How about
So
Hocus Pocus?
Hocus Pocus, I've never seen it, but another, I think that was kind of more against witches. Witches were evil, because I think they do harm. Um, Not that they delete them, but they kind of are against children again. So it's kind of like the whole witches movie where they kind of turn uh, little children into mice. And that was kind of like the theme of the witches movie
How is
as I
that a
was
bad
explaining.
thing? No, I'm just kidding.
Uh, well, except for our own, right? Everybody else's kid can be a mouse, but
Well, yeah, the
um,
craft kind of was a little bit of both. If you ever saw that one.
yes, I did see The Craft. I didn't really understand it. So why don't you tell our audience what The Craft was all about? Because I really didn't understand the movie. I was kind of
Well,
like lost in
I think
Kansas
it
here.
karma's a big play in that one, and I think the character Nancy does bad things and doesn't expect anything bad to happen to her, and ends up uh, not very well off. If you haven't seen the movie, I won't give too many spoilers, but that was a good one. I saw that a lot growing up.
Well, and I do remember at the end that the lady, the there was 3 girls, or were there 4 girls? 3 or 4
4.
girls. Yeah, and the one, she kind of, she changes her face so that the boy that she sort of has a crush on will, be with her. Um, that's what I can say for YouTube is be with her, spend some time with her. So she like changes her face. And at the end, I just remember that they all say, "Oh, well, we lost all of our powers." And the one girl does something supernatural. And she's like, "Yeah, me too." Like, at the end, she kind of like pretends that, oh, she lost all her powers too, but she really has them all. Um,
And I think it's because she was the only one that didn't abuse the power.
abuse the power, right. And I'd like to say that's probably pro and con, because the several of them just wanted the power to do witchcraft, where the one didn't. She didn't really want power. She just wanted to, kind of know what witchcraft was all about, and the kind of magic you could do. So yeah, yeah. The Craft was definitely a good movie. Excuse me. It doesn't really say anything about witches, but there is some kind of magic in it, and that's called Death Becomes Her. And that was a good one. I like that one. One of my favorite movies with Goldie Hawn in it, and also Meryl Streep. And then of course you have Bruce Willis. He plays the husband. And then, yeah, some really good acting there, and I thought it was a great movie. I saw it when I was young. I was probably about 8 or 9 years old, and I saw it at a Halloween party of all places. Now, again, that doesn't really have anything to do with witches, but there's a magic potion in there that makes you younger. So, like, if you're 50 years old and, you're getting old, on in years, you can take this potion and it will literally make you a young girl again. The only thing is you can't like fall because you would like, if you hurt something, you would be permanently hurt. So that was the drawback of this potion. That was a warning. And then she puts a pin on Meryl Streep and says, "Take care of your body." That's what she meant. Like, if you have an injury to your body, then you definitely are going to live with that for the rest of your life. And it ends with them in pieces. And all you see is Goldie Hawn's head go, "Where did you park the car?" Crazy funny, but I mean, it did have some kind of magic in there where, they were made young again because they were, 50 some years old. And of course they tried to get Bruce Willis to do it, and then Bruce didn't want to do it. So, okay. So, finally we get into, we done kind of Charmed, and Charmed was like pro witch. So was Buffy was very pro witch. She does turn evil there at like season 5 or 6 because her loved one was taken from her. She was deleted by one of the villains, villains. So she becomes an evil witch, and she basically deletes this guy that took her loved one away. And it's she does become good again, but I mean, there's like becomes very scary, at one point. So it was very pro witch, and then it kind of like she was like because she was getting revenge for the loved one that she lost. So people could kind of, well, I mean, if I lost a loved one like that, yes, I would be very angry and very vengeful too.
That
Excuse
reminds
me.
me of Nightmare Before Christmas. Sally was seen in a pretty good light.
Yes, yes, she was also a magical. I don't know if she was say a witch, but I mean, yeah, Nightmare Before
Well, she
Christmas.
stirred potions and stuff.
She stirred potions. Okay. Well, that classifies then. Um, I do love Nightmare Before Christmas. I admit that I haven't seen it in a while though. I mean, it's been years since I've seen it. But my dad and I, that's something we used to bond over. So we would sit there and watch movies, and Nightmare Before Christmas was one of them. I love your tarot deck for Nightmare Before Christmas. That's freaking awesome. I
It
really
is. The
like that.
cards are so thick. I love shuffling
But
them. It
I
just
like
feels good.
I'm not gonna sing it, but This Is Halloween. Remember when they sing that?
Oh yeah,
I
my son and I
I've
watch
had
that
that
every
song
year.
in my head for years. um, maybe I'll sing it for like a bonus content over on Rumble. um, so I mean, there's so many things that pop culture has. They've gone from witches were bad to witches were, and then now they're heroes of stories. You had mentioned Harry Potter. So in 2000, we had this character come into our lives, and everybody I'm sure has seen at least the Harry Potter's Sorcerer and the Sorcerer's Stone, or the whatever
In
Philosopher's
your
Stone is what they
yeah,
call it in UK.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So you have over in the US, we had a new character brought to us into our lives called Harry Potter. And if you haven't heard of the Harry Potter movies, I don't know, maybe you're living under a rock at this point. I mean, I've seen every one of them. My dad, I mean, I was so sick of my dad watching Harry Potter at one point, I literally made him watch Star Wars. Yeah,
Wow.
I know, because I mean that's another thing that we used to bond over is Star Wars. I could probably recite Return of the Jedi to you because my
And
dad and I would watch it all the time.
they're considered space wizards technically in
Yes,
Star
and
Wars
that's the
even.
other thing. Jedi's, there's another one. Jedi's are literally witches and wizards of their time because they use something called the Force. Um, so I think there's a lot of pop culture out there that we can consider witchcraft or witches, but not no more than Harry Potter and how that pop culture took off. I remember thinking how terrible. It's a fictional character. You had a lot of religious groups come out. One woman said, I don't care if Harry Potter was a hero, he's still against God, and I would delete him. I said, you would delete a child who didn't believe as you believe. How horrible. And this was going around all over the place
And
around the
they
time that
save
Harry Potter came
muggles.
out. People are free to believe what they want. This is the United States of America. Um, and I think we've gotten over that, where the Salem witch trials were, all about land grabs. There really, I always tell this to people, there really were no witches at Salem. That's the misconception everyone wants to believe, because here's the biggest thing. They always said, oh, the devil was around. The devil was around. Well, guys, witches don't believe in the devil. So if Wiccans or Wiccans didn't come until the 50s, but in 1692, when this all took place, I mean, pagans didn't believe in a devil. They only believed in their gods and goddesses that helped them along in their magic. And a lot of old pagan witches or pagan women, so we would think of old crones or older ladies, were literally considered medicine women. They were actually herbalists who actually would help you if you had a cold, if you had a headache. I see a lot of ASMR role playing where they'll role play a witch, and it's usually, oh, here, let me grab this herb here, and let me grab that herb here. So, I mean, a lot of older ladies in the community back in, 1692 or even before that were literally just doctors and nurses, and they cared for their community and they cared for their people, because I mean they had to, they came to them for herbs that would help you. So there's certain herbs that will cure inflammation. If you have like some kind of I don't know, let's say you have some kind of injury and it's swelling up. Um, you could use a kind of herb, and that lady would know, your medicine woman, as the Native Americans would call them medicine men, but in our cultures we would call them medicine women, would actually come to you and help you with your ailments. So a lot of misconceptions about witches. Though when Harry Potter came out, um, there was also a lot of people who welcomed it. So, you had the religious on one side and then the very religious who weren't going to go see it. Oh man, I'm sorry. And then you also had the people who kind of welcomed it and kind of like, what is this all about? I want to know more because I'm curious about this.
Did
So
you
you
ever
had a
see Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman? Speaking of the
yes,
medicine,
yep,
that was a good show.
yep.
See,
That was a
and my
great
mom
show.
watched that. Yeah, yeah.
I and as funny as this sounds, I also like Touched by an Angel. um who is the other lady that I really liked, and she was in a episode, or she was in a movie with Kevin Sorbo. She was in the first Hercules movie with him. It was
I love
Hercules
that
and the
series.
Amazon women. That was the woman who played in Touched by an Angel. Um, I love her character because she ends up falling in love with Kevin Sorbo in the movie. Uh, but I loved her in Touched by an Angel, and anything supernatural that you think of, a miracle, is still a form of magic. Even if, some say, well, it's different. No, they're the same. Okay, so
Supernatural. Speaking of which, that was a very
Supernatural, right?
popular.
The show Supernatural had witches in it. There's all kinds of anime with witches in them. Some good, some bad. There's Vampire Hunter D. There's witch was it Witch Hunter? I think there's a Witch Hunter too. Um,
And you had
Witch
Narnia and Lord of the
something.
Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. Um, for those who don't watch anime, won't have a clue what I'm talking about. Um, but there was also like a witch hunter in anime. But then, yes, you also had Lord of the Rings, which was very heavily on witchcraft and all kinds of and I love Ian McKellen, such a great actor right there. Um, of course, you have Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones had witches in it in the third season. I couldn't get out over the first because there were some things in there I just couldn't handle. I was just like, "Ooh, ugh, no, I'm turning it off."
I only saw the first one.
So I never got to the third season with all the witches in it, but yeah, another one would be that. Of course, you have the show Merlin, which would come later, which was literally about like I said, it was about Merlin, and he would actually go on to be good friends with King Arthur. The guy who played in Buffy, the guy who plays like her mentor, her trainer, he plays King Luthor in Merlin. Yeah, I don't remember his name now. Sorry. Uh, but I know he played in Buffy as well. So again, you have other updated shows about witchcraft. You have Supernatural. You had what am I thinking of? Now it just went out of my head.
Yeah.
But all these shows literally had some kind of supernatural thing to them. Um, there was some
Yes.
Sleepy
Sword in the Stone.
Hollow. Sleepy
Ooh, that's
Hollow, the
great.
show Sleepy Hollow had supernatural things in it. His wife was a witch, his first wife. I don't know if he got married again, but him and that detective um were in love. Whether anyone wants to believe it or not, I still say him and Abby were in love.
The
Um
Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the Disney cartoon from 1949, was one
yeah,
of my absolute favorites, as well as Sword in the Stone, which was
Sword in the Stone. I love Sword in the Stone. I loved
yeah,
Merlin and
yeah.
when he would, and the dishes, you see all the dishes go in the bag. I was like, "Yes."
If
Even
only.
I mean, you can go to Disney, Little Mermaid, Sea Witch. Even though the Sea Witch was bad, she still had intentions. Uh maybe not to help Ariel, but she also wanted to, rule the kingdom.
Yeah,
In the
if you
new
wish
live
upon a
action,
star,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
if you wish upon a star is like Disney's
If
theme,
you
pretty
wish
much.
upon a star, Peter Pan had magic in it. I mean the original, not the um
Hook.
oh geez, Mary what the heck is her name? Mary something or other. She was Larry Hagman's mother. She did a play, and she played Peter Pan. So, Hook had magic in it, and that was about Peter Pan, of course. Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams. Oh, I love him. Bob Hoskins, love him. Uh, he played in a movie called Who Framed Roger Rabbit with Christopher Lloyd. Can you still hear me? Okay. So you had all these movies, some good, some bad. Of course, you had the
Mary Poppins.
supernatural. Mary Poppins also had a lot of magic in it. Uh, yeah, and I loved Mary Poppins when I was young. Um, let's see. I'm looking right at it. My DVD collection of Lucifer. Even though Lucifer was a good character, he still had supernatural abilities to make people tell the truth. So there you go again. And I don't think there's any witches in it, but but I mean there's still like there's a demon. Her name is Raz. No, Maze. Not Raz. So I mean I have all kinds of TV shows. I Dream a Genie. There you go. Again, magic and a genie and Aladdin and um even the live action stuff that they did has magic in it. Snow White, the evil stepmother was a witch. Though the witch was bad in that one because she literally tries to delete Snow White, but
I think that's kind of arguable, only because she puts her to sleep and then she finds a true love because of it. I mean, I don't know. I think there's more to it than it seems, but I could be wrong.
well, if you actually read the original um the Grimm brothers story, it's actually more morbid than previously thought. They actually
Okay.
yeah, they kind of delete the stepmother. And it's like if I showed I'll show you offline. But it's kind of like horrid what they did to her.
Ooh,
But
I
that
have
was a
that book.
Grimm brothers story. I mean,
Yeah,
Disney kind of just, made it for kids, but I mean the Grimm story was like holy moly. Um
it's amazing how much they changed some movies.
Cinderella was another one, another great one with a magic mother fairy. So the Fae were involved.
Oh
Um
gosh, Fantasia with Mickey Mouse and
Oh, I love
oh
Fantasia. I love Fantasia 2000 as well. Always my favorites there. Um, oh, there's so many more. I mean, not only that, but I came upon I can't say the group's name or I'd have to cut it out, and I want to do as less editing as possible. Um, but they are a pagan rock group, and they also sing about Wicca and pagan. So there's also songs about witchcraft. There's the witchcraft song. I think that was Old Blue Eyes
yeah,
himself.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Frank
yeah.
Sinatra,
I
yeah.
can't sing it because we're on YouTube. Well, we will be on YouTube. But that's a good one, and it was called Witchcraft. I Put a Spell on You, which another great one, that came out, and it was I mean, they play it all around Halloween, Ghostbusters theme or the Ghostbusters. Thriller was another good one, though that was more about zombies, wasn't really about witches. But, I mean, if you think about it, in our culture, during Halloween, witches are, have been celebrated in the, not Samhain, but mostly Halloween. If Halloween wasn't so advertised and sold off, so to speak, But witches are a main part of that, and I do have Halloween music that I will start playing around September, October. I mean, heck, I can do it right now. I have, Halloween playlists that I can just go to and I can just listen to for hours. And it doesn't scare me because, I love Halloween. In fact, I've been to here in PA, we have one called Jason's Woods. And we have another one which I was at when I was 10. I was 10 years old and we went to Fields of Screams. That was so much fun. So you have Halloween theme park too. So you have all kinds of witchcraft or witch representation in the world. I just like to, sort of, I guess, there's so
Have more
much out
truth to
there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much out there. And the thing that I want everyone to understand is uh Hollywood is never right about it. I mean, yeah, a witch or a wizard in this case could be the hero of a story, but it represents only part of that witchcraft that we all um are a part of. Where we have wands. Yeah, we have wands, but I mean, a wand is just a symbol or just a tool. The energy is within in us. So
And it's
I
not
think
going to do
Harry
all your wishes
Potter.
for you.
Right, we're not gonna just wave the wand and something happens, okay? We're not gonna say, "Lengardio Leviosa," we're not gonna say that and then something levitates. Like, that's not how it works. I'm sure you and I all wish that it worked like that. I mean, we could just, wave our magic wands and stuff comes to us.
Or there you go. Light as a feather, stiff as a board was a popular game that people played.
Yeah, I actually did play that when I was at a Girl Scout party. Yeah, I would play that one. And actually, we did lift the girl pretty much off the ground until we all freaked out and they were like, "Oh my gosh." Did you ever play the Sandman? Where
I don't
you
think
would
so.
look, say Sandman, 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 and then you do this and you'd have to look in the mirror and you would see him.
Oh yeah, or Mary, that I can't say the rest of the name,
Yep,
looking
yep.
in a mirror.
Yep. Same thing. Yeah, there was all kinds of sleepover games we would do, the light as a feather, stiff as a board. Yeah, that was a good one. We did that one many,
What
many
about
times.
Santa Claus? I mean, if you want to consider that magic, it could be.
Yeah, I mean, to do what he would have to do, you would have to be magical. Right. Because there's a lot of children in the world that you'd have to get through in one night, So if you consider that, I mean, even Wiccans have a version of Santa Claus. The gift giving was always pagan first. The tree, bringing in the tree, decorating the tree, putting lights on the tree, that was all pagan first. The Yuletime log, mistletoe, that was all pagan first. So
Yeah, it was
a
actually
lot of
illegalized in America at some point at the beginning by Christians. So.
right, right, a lot of the traditions and what I don't like is when they call Halloween Satan's birthday. First of all, it's not. First of all, Satan was never born, so I don't know how you consider that a birthday to him. Okay, what Samhain is just it just means that the veil between the living and the deceased um have is very, very thin, and it's kind of like the day of the deceased in Mexico, where they actually will pull a chair up and they honor their ancestors, for those who have passed on but not forgotten. In older traditions, in older pagan traditions, they used to leave food out on the doorstep so any fleeing or floating spirit going by would have something to eat. So, I mean, there's a lot of traditions when it comes to Samhain. And of course, Christians always like to ruin it by saying, "Oh, it's Satan's birthday." No, it isn't. Okay, first of all, Satan's not real. So, but I don't say that around my guests that are Satanists. Okay, I don't say that.
And I think you
They
see
can
that in a
believe.
different way, anyways.
Right. Well, if you do look at it from a different perspective, technically he was a fallen angel. So at one point, Lucifer was an angel, if you believe the story. Um, he just tried to rebel against God, and was thrown down into you know where. Um, so I don't think it's like if you look at the story, he was sort of a good guy at first, and then he just wanted to rebel against God. Um, but really, the story of Lucifer doesn't make any sense. Um, I mean, for all eternity now, he has to judge and be mean to the people who were not very nice in life. So, I mean, that's kind of like and the TV show Lucifer, if you ever watch it, it's so good. He actually uh in there explains why he feels rejected by his father, why he feels rejected by all these people. And, and that's like a journey he has to go through. So if you ever watch that, I really recommend it. It's called Lucifer. Really great TV show right there. And uh, it takes upon some the pagan traditions would be, oh, there's a mother goddess. Okay, so God is Lucifer's father. Well, his mother would be the goddess of all creation. So they had to put some pagan stuff in there as well. And there was a lot of witchcraft in there. A lot of magic and stuff. And like I said, the supernatural stuff. Yeah, the show Supernatural. Very good show. I've only seen like maybe one or two episodes of it. Wasn't really interested. But it had, I'm sure it has witches on there and
Yeah, it
everything.
does. They have an
Mhm.
awesome Christmas episode that you would like,
Okay.
but it's yeah.
Um there's a lot of things I like, and like I said, I do like some of the band that I listen to. Again, can't say their name, but they have like a song called like Church of Madness, where they kind of say, this religion is crazy, basically. Now again, you can believe whatever you want, go whatever path you want to go. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But it just it tells a lot of, it makes a lot of sense if you listen to the song. Look it up. I'm not going to sing it here. Maybe for a bonus. It's called Church of Madness. The other one I really like is called Preacher Man, and kind of with what's been on in the Catholic Church, and the cover up that's been going on in there, it kind of explains, like what that is all about. But it's not just pastors, or I'm sorry, it's not just priests, it's also pastors too. Because I used to have a friend that was actually married to a pastor, and trust me, there's some weird stuff going on. She told me stories. The stories I could tell you, but it's not made for YouTube. Let's say that. Um,
Anyone that has power, unfortunately, abuses it.
right. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, uh, let's see. I mean, there's so many, many. Any other ones that you really like?
Well, I can't say the last name of it, but I'll give you True, and then the thing that vampires drink with Anna
Ah,
Paquin. I don't know if you
I
ever saw
saw
that.
the first couple of episodes. Again, wasn't really much for it, but yes, I have heard of it.
Witchcraft
Um,
gets really heavily involved later.
right, because if you look at vampires, and they do have supernatural abilities. Some of them have the power of mind reading. Some of them have the power to move to long distances, and all they have to do is like disappear and then reappear there.
Yeah, they have
I've
Fae in part of it. They bring the Fae in and all
Yeah,
kinds of
they
stuff.
bring the fae in. There's some vampire romance that I read, and I know one of them is he actually went back in time to meet his wife, who was a witch. She was actually in a coven, and because and she was being prosecuted actually as a witch. So he actually had to save her, and then they come back to the normal time. And it's a beautiful story. Amanda Ashley, but I don't remember the title of it. I'm so sorry. But Amanda Ashley is a great writer. She does great vampire romance. Um, I can't say enough good things about her. Um, Another one that I forgot until now, The Evil Dead or The Army of Darkness. Have you ever seen those movies, The Evil Dead?
Absolutely. The first
Okay.
original ones, yeah.
Yeah, I did see Army of Darkness. I love it. I love Bruce Campbell. Even Xena and Hercules had witchcraft and magic in them. Um, I can remember, uh, you know, all kinds of episodes where they do witchcraft and the gods will supernaturally do something. Um, but yeah, there's another good one where that was like old in,
Mhm.
Greece times, and they had all the god and goddesses from Greece, who literally would do all kinds of supernatural stuff.
Yeah, that
Um,
reminds me of Clash of the Titans, and then more recently Percy
yep,
Jackson.
yep, yeah, yeah, exactly. And then of course you have the Disney Hercules, where they do all kinds of witchcraft in there. That was
That's a fun
97.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a good one. Even in my other show, we have supernatural stuff happening in wrestling, uh, called the Wyatt Six. Six, I think.
Have
Something
you
like
seen The
that.
Emperor's New Groove?
I have not, but that also
Oh,
has
such a good one.
witchcraft in it. Um, the Princess and the Frog. Well, the guy who does voodoo and stuff, don't be scared about voodoo, guys. Voodoo is not as scary as you would think. I know
Or
if you want to look
Hollywoods.
it up and read a great story about a great voodoo queen. Um, uh-oh, I think you're having trouble with your camera again.
I
Okay.
am, yeah.
Okay. Well, if we lose you, we'll definitely pop you back on.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, voodoo. If you want to look up, he just went off there, but when he comes back on, we will definitely bring him back on. So, if you guys want to look up anything, it's look up a great voodoo priestess. Marie blah, 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 sorry. Marie Laveau. Um, Truly a queen of her time. She is a wonderful lady. I can't say enough good things about her. But I mean, New Orleans was like the pinnacle of the voodoo priestesses and queens and stuff. And again, they did witchcraft because voodoo is a form of witchcraft. That, I mean, this is not pop culture, but I mean, there's still a lot of things that we can learn from the voodoo side of it. That voodoo was great magic, and it was still magic that people would go to Marie Laveau from all around the world and any stance. No, it didn't matter if you were rich or poor, you would go to Marie Laveau to help you out. And she was a very sweet lady from what I've heard and what I've read about her. Very sweet. She actually was a hairdresser for many of the ladies of the day. Um, a lot of rich clients. She had a lot of rich clients who and she would do their hair. I mean, I would love for her to do mine. um, but I love my hairdresser. Anyway, I mean, just to name a few things, just to get you some thinking about anything. And if you guys think about anything, you can leave comments down in the comment section of your favorite show or your favorite movie that has to deal with witches that we kind of skipped over. I had a whole bunch of other ones that, the movie Bewitched. There was a movie Bewitched, and with Nicole Kidman and Will Ferrell, I think. Excellent. It was an excellent movie done by excellent actors and actresses. Just like she had done in Practical Magic, she was really great in that movie. She was really great in also Bewitched, the updated version or the movie. Um, so I really recommend that as well if you like that kind of stuff. Like I said, Game of Thrones also had witches in them, and supernatural stuff too. So, but there's all kinds of stuff. And like I said, if you remember any of this stuff, just go ahead and put it down in the comment field. Also, I just want to do a couple of shameless plugs really fast. So on my Kurt Hennig was the best, changed my mind. I just dropped episode 45. If you could check that out on my other channel, it'll be in the description field below if you want to click that. We do Kurt Hennig versus D. Malenko. Okay. Also, Pro Wrestling Talk was Sunday, and I kind of messed up, and Angel messed up too. So, but check that out. We will be not this weekend, but next weekend, next Saturday. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we will be on 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check that out if you like pro wrestling. Also, I just want to make an announcement that if you do want a reading with either Matt or myself, you can in the description field, we have our it is the X or Twitter for Black Magic Talk. You can click on that link, and you can follow us and DM us or direct message us, and we can give you our rates for our readings. And also, if you would like that on or off the show, it's completely and honestly up to you. Whatever you'd like to do. I'm going to have to get off here soon, because if I don't, my son will let me know. But I just want to let everyone know. Oh, here comes Matt again. I'm just going to do some shameless plugs right now, because we're coming to the end. And if I don't get off in 8 minutes, my son will definitely let me know. And I want to do the moon right thing. So I was just saying, if they want a reading with you or me, you can DM us. The link will be in the description field. If you like what we're doing, you can like, subscribe, get on our Patreon page, and pick the tier you would wish to give to us every month. And literally, we will be at your bidding, according to the excuse me, whatever we have to give there. And also, I just want to let everyone know that I would also like to do some bonus content. I give it to Matt also, that if he would like to upload bonus content, all you have to do is send me the video. Just send me in an email. You would just attach it. And I will post it on both YouTube and Rumble. What I'd like to start doing myself, or I can do with you as well, is I would like to start doing ASMR, which is it helps you to relax. It helps you to be very relaxed, and helps you to sleep. Also, there's a lot of good things that it's good for. My favorites are always the plucking ones, where they pluck the energy from you, or the Reiki. I can do Reiki with the hand movements and stuff. And we can go over your chakras. So the crown, third eye, throat, the heart, the solar, sacrum, and the root chakras. I memorize them. But I love Reiki, and I would love to also do some role playing. So like maybe we do a tarot one, or maybe I just give a general tarot. That's sort of role playing, but it also would just be for our audience, and it will be for free. You don't have to pay for that. I would just do a general reading for our audience. And for those who it actually helps, you can keep it. I always keep them on a playlist. And for those it doesn't help, well, I'm sorry, but obviously it wasn't meant for you. Other than that, I think we should get to our new moon right before my son comes in here and has a fit. Okay. All right, we're going to cross our arms over our chest. On this dark night of the new moon, I practice the ancient rites. Open your arms out to the side and slightly upwards, and say, "Hail to the Queen of the Night. Hail to thee, Lady Hecate of the new moon. Tonight the tides shift. Tonight a new phase begins, endings and beginnings, ebbing and flowing, a cycle of contradiction. Oh, excuse me, a cycle of contradiction, contraction. That's not an easy word to say. A cycle of contraction and expansion. I honor the crone. I honor the maiden. I bask in the safety of the darkness. I sink into the depths of my true being. Tonight I begin again. Behold the Lady of Darkness. Behold the Lady of Light. Queen of the night, remove what no longer serves me. Queen of the light, gather in what helps me thrive. Teach me all mysteries, spells, and magic. Guide me to my true self. Guide me with love along my true path. Okay. Now, if I'll just do a moment of silence, if you'd like to say a few words to yourself, that's fine. But I'll just do a few seconds. So if you want to say a little prayer or say a few words, you can go ahead. All right, blessed be. And now we shall close the circle and give gratitude. Goddess of the new moon, I thank you for your presence and your blessings. I give offerings to you in praise and gratitude. May you both be pleased and fulfilled. I give offerings and thanks to the God of the witches for your presence here. May you both be pleased and fulfilled. Blessed be. And we're good till the full moon, of course. But Matt, is there any kind of shameless plug you would like to do in the last 3 minutes we have here?
I've got a few books out there if anyone's interested in poetry, or my last one was For Telling True Tales. They're all in the description below. And that one is about how to use tarot, the runes, and the Celtic Ogham to help you write. So if you think that might be something that interests you, it's actually free on Amazon Kindle Unlimited, which you can get a free 2-month subscription for if you Google it. So it would help me out. And if you would leave me a review, I would appreciate it. And thanks for watching. I love being here.
Nice. Yeah, I should check that out because I have a book that I need to finish, and I was trying to get to it, but I just was so busy at work. I had customers. So yeah, check that out. Everything will be in the description field. If you have any questions, you can obviously DM us. We're not hard people to approach, or we're not mean people, so we're not going to get mad if you DM us about anything. But make sure that you put in the subject line reading if you would like a reading, or question if you have a question, just so we know that you're not spam, and we don't, like, delete you or block you because we think you're spam or something. So again, everything will be in this description field, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. It's been awesome talking about this stuff, because there's so much more. And like I said, if we missed your favorite show that has witches and witchcraft in it, leave a comment below and just tell us what you thought about the show, or tell us what you thought about your show that you really love so much that we might have forgotten. Because there's many TV shows and movies about witches and witchcraft. Excuse me. So everyone have a wonderful week, and we will see you again. Blessed be everyone. Next week, who do we? Yes, who
Dr.
do we
John
have?
Sharp. Dr. John Sharp is
Dr.
going to be here.
John Sharp. Okay. So next week we'll have Dr. John Sharp. Look for that. So I will drop the episodes on Tuesday, probably afternoon, and we'll go from there. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and have a blessed week.